2020 was a weird year for me watching TV shows because there was just so much happening in the world that I wasn't able to watch as much TV as I usually could, but I still watched some TV, so I'll talk about my limited amount of shows that I've watched and my top 5 of those. So that's what this video is going to be. It's going to be my top 5 TV shows of 2020. And just a disclaimer, because I know The Queen's Gambit is one of the biggest shows in the world right now. Haven't seen it, so it's not going to be part of this top 5. If I would have watched it, it probably will because everybody's raving about it, but just a warning. Also, I'm not going to do any honorable mentions for this video because 1, I haven't seen enough shows to make honorable mentions, and 2, honorable mentions just kind of takes away from the exclusivity. Who wouldn't want to make this list from the Empty Opinions YouTube channel the most exclusive thing ever? That's my narcissism talking, I know, but whatever. My 5th favorite show of 2020 is The Eric Andre Show Season 5. There's no show out there that has my perfect sense of humor the way that The Eric Andre Show does. And it's definitely a very specific sense of humor, so if you don't watch this show and don't find it funny, I can't blame you. But if you get the humor this show is going for and you find it funny, you're gonna die laughing from the first 5 seconds of every episode. Like seriously, I just can't get enough of Eric Andre breaking his whole set over and over again. Somehow it was funny every single time. And just the way you can tell there's this big budget this season that Adult Swim gave Eric Andre, and the way he was able to utilize that big budget and actually take advantage of it and make the show even funnier with it. I just think that's a hard thing to do when you get that kind of a budget. Usually creators don't know what to do with it because they're so used to having no budget that they kind of overdo it and fuck it up. Eric Andre did not fall into that trap and made probably my favorite season from the Eric Andre Show yet. Alright, my 4th favorite show of 2020 was Ozark Season 3. 2020 has been so chaotic, I barely even remembered that this season came out this year. But it did, and as soon as I remembered that this season came out this year, I was like, oh yeah, this season was fucking nuts. I feel like Season 3 finally took the show to the level that it's been wanting to get to for a long time. Like from the first episode in the first season, everybody just saw this as like Breaking Bad light. They didn't really treat it as prestige drama and more just like an entertaining B show, if you will. But with Season 3, you best believe the drama was taken up to 100, the twists were taken up to 100, the performances were taken up to 100, the themes were taken up to 100. Everything that you would have thought Season 1 was, they did it way better in Season 3. And I mean, talk about unrelenting. Like, this show didn't let up even in the last 30 seconds of the season. It wasted no time, and now I'm so excited for Season 4. I hear Season 4 might be the last season. I'll be sad because the show has been really entertaining and as of late really fucking high quality, but if they're gonna end it in a high note, then I'm totally fine with that. Alright, my 3rd favorite show of the year was The Last Dance. To be honest, this was one of the shows that saved 2020, to be honest. Every week for 5 weeks, so we're just watching this journey and reliving all the crazy events that happened throughout the Michael Jordan era of basketball, and it was just so exciting to watch, especially since it was weekly and you could talk about it with people. It became a water cooler show in a time where like people weren't doing water cooler anything. You can't even really go to a water cooler because there's other people there and you gotta wear a mask and you can't get too close with them. So the fact that this show was able to unite so many people on Twitter and have everybody talking about it, that's how you know the show was really good. And in terms of a documentary, I don't think I've ever seen a documentary this exciting with such an interesting structure as this show did. I know a lot of people felt like the structure of this documentary wasn't really appropriate for a documentary, but when you're trying to make an entertaining piece of art, this was exactly that. And this show was especially cool for me because I didn't really grow up in the Michael Jordan era of basketball, so I didn't really know a lot of this stuff. I kind of knew it, but not really. But reliving it with a lot of people that probably actually went through it, and everybody having that camaraderie of learning why Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time, fuck LeBron, was just a cool experience in general, especially in such a shitty year. Alright, my 2nd favorite show of 2020 was Rami Season 2. God, this year has been so crazy. I also don't really remember this show, but now looking at it, yeah, this season was fire. The thing I loved the most about Season 2 of Rami was how it went out of its way to make the main protagonist the most hated and the most cringeworthy character that could have ever created. Because think about it, whenever you see a show with the main character as the title of the show, you never see that character do anything really crazy, or they always try to treat him with kid gloves as to not make him too unlikable. Rami Youssef, the comedian, and his creative team were like, you know what, fuck that, we're gonna turn this shit up to 11. We're gonna make everybody hate Rami Rami universally. And that's what was so cool about it, is that also increases how much investment you have in this character and just how real it makes it seem. A lot of the critics were talking about how the best episodes from this season were the ones that weren't about Rami. I disagree. They were only saying that because they hated how douchey Rami became as a character, but I think that was the best creative decision this show could have ever done. Taking him to the depths of hell in terms of a character, that's only going to make his arc as a character that much bigger and that much better. So congrats to the Rami team, you guys killed it, and I hope you get another Emmy the same way Rami Youssef did for the first season. And finally, we're here. My favorite show of 2020 was The Boys. Season 2. I'm gonna need everybody to stop calling this show a superhero show. It is no longer a superhero show. It is no longer a comic book show. It is now one of the best shows on television, period. And that was something that was really unexpected with this show. I didn't really think it was going to get to that level of quality. Very similar to Ozark, in its first season, it was just more of an entertaining show overall. The entertainment value was really up there, but I didn't really feel like it had anything to say. And it didn't really have to say anything, but that's the thing that keeps the show from being good to being great. Another one of those things is making the show weekly, because that increases the investment that us as fans get watching every week. In just the subtle ways that every character in this season was able to get their own arc, and they were able to be fleshed out even more. On top of the crazy action we've come to expect from this show. And then you add the humor, and it's still as funny as it was in season 1. And then you add the twist of the crazy shit that keeps happening. And then you keep increasing the stakes of the show. And then you add heart to the show, so that when something happens to these characters, we feel really bad and even start crying. Are you fucking kidding me? It's one of those seasons that is really a turning point in this show, and if they can keep the quality going the same as it was in season 2, this could go down as one of the best shows of all time. That's a big claim, I know, but listen, if you're paying attention to all the subtle shit they're doing with this show, then you would know exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, those are my favorite shows of 2020. I was slacking with the amount of shows I was watching in 2020 just because life got in the way, but you best believe in 2021, I'm going to be watching as many shows as possible, so that my top 5 list of shows at the end of 2021 is going to be 50 times longer than this one. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, that's the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you guys in any other video you may decide to watch on this YouTube channel.